All right, good evening, everyone. Let's see. So we're going to talk Being Mary Jane, Season 4, Episode 6, Getting Home. Now, there wasn't a whole lot of drama, but there was some issues that the black community and parents in general we need to address. I said we because I'm part of the village. I ain't got no kids, but again, as y'all know, anyone who follows me and knows my channel knows that I believe I'm part of the village. Now, I mean, Miss Diva can't always be there, but Diva tried. Mary Jane, last episode we left off, it really focused more so on Niecy and her issues of trying to come to terms with being a woman that was assaulted and her civil rights violated by the police, as well as dealing with the court of public opinion. Niecy, unfortunately, could not handle those pressures, and so she ended up losing the funds that she won from a sealed settlement. I believe it probably was a non-judicial settlement, and the court just rubber stamped off on it. But either way, Mary Jane is home. An opportunity came up where she would be able to go to Atlanta and attend this gala and opening. And y'all forgive me because I was watching, but I was like, Thurgood Marshall. It was something pertaining to Thurgood Marshall, apparently the legal community. But there were issues that needed to be addressed. So I'll get the cute and funny out of the way. Well, Mary Jane's home. Travion is Niecy's oldest child, whose father is very much absent, but at least is paying child support. He is having issues at school. What is interesting about this is that all this time, let me back up. Let me not talk about that. So she comes home. Everyone's happy to see her. She was supposed to stay at the Four Seasons, honey. I probably would stay. I love my family. I can come visit y'all, but I would stay at the Four Seasons. But she learns that Travion, as soon as she gets to the door, she goes into Auntie Mary Jane, Auntie Pauletta mode, and that is, I've got to help save my family and get them together. Travion, I guess, is still having issues dealing with what happened, seeing his mother assaulted and guns being drawn on them by Atlanta PD. So he's still having issues, and they have not been addressed. But of course, Auntie Pauletta is home, Mary Jane, and she decided, oh, well, I'm gonna stay and I can help out with him for a few days and see her brother PJ. That's probably why he didn't show up, because you notice he was absent. I guess he was like, you can go home by yourself. I do not want to get involved with family drama. By the way, the older brother was absent too. Where was he? I guess they're trying to downplay maybe the drama between Justin and her were just a little bit too heavy, and so they just felt like, well, we'll just start focusing more on Mary Jane's home life. So I thought that was interesting that PJ wasn't involved, nor was her older brother. But she gets a surprise. She's on the phone. She's like, I'm really concerned that maybe I'm going to fall back into my old ways of judging and taking over and trying to control situations. I appreciate her for acknowledging that. And Lee surprised her and comes and shows up. While they're making out at the door, Mom and Daddy walk in, and Miss Helen Patterson, a.k.a. Suge Avery. Well, Pauletta, who is this nice young man? Well, I don't just stand there. And he was like, oh, I'm the delivery man, and I'm here. She was just giving me a tip, and they were laughing. And Mom and them just took him right on in. I said, but that's how Southern parents are. They just, oh, well, come on in here, son. They got to vet you and check you out and see what you about. Basically, Mary Jane is not happy about these sleeping arrangements, but I'm just like, your mom and daddy are traditional good Christian people, honey. You don't bring no man home and bring him into your childhood room. So now she regrets giving up that room at the Four Seasons. But he got booked for a gig down in Atlanta, and so he decided to take it. It was the perfect weekend for him. So the family seems to like him, but Suge Avery is like so many Southern parents, or just family members, they don't curt their words. She was like, now, Mary Jane, are you serious about this here young man? I mean, you're almost 40. I said, damn, don't remind her. And she reminded her that basically she got powdered eggs and cracked eggs, so she might want her and figure out what it's going to do. She seems a little taken aback by the fact that He has 2 children already. But like we've already discussed in earlier videos, many of us who are 40 and over, we have to realize that most people we're going to meet now at this point in our lives are probably going to have a child or two. Be it from a marriage, a college fling, in their 20s, they were spreading their seed all over town. Yeah, by the time I think by the time any of us get to be 30 and up, it's pretty much going to be somebody got a child. Either you have one, he got one. It's going to be a blended family situation, okay? But let's get into the meat and potatoes of everything. That's kind of the prelim. Oh, one of the more funnier points is that, of course, you know, whenever you have a dating situation where you got to sleep in separate rooms from your man, you're grown, doing your own thing in your own home, but when you come back to your mom and dad's house, that's when you have to respect the rules. And I can't remember exactly. Oh, they also had dinner around the table. Niecy was not feeling Lee. And I imagine, as my friend Tammy probably would say at this point, girl, he is not cute. Okay, I'll give you ladies that. Lee is not the most attractive man, but let's just put it this way. If it came down to it, Lil Wayne or Lee, who you gonna pick? I'm going with Lee. Okay, but he's very charming, and I personally find, I mean, he's not like the most attractive man on earth, but I mean, hell, I'd date him. Shit, I mean, he ain't that ugly, because I don't feel like I would be terrified for my life if I woke up, and if it was Lil Wayne, I'd be scared and be like, what little rodent came in this house and got into bed with me, or was I that drunk? Okay. They around the table, we learn the history of hoghead cheese. My parents eat that shit too, and I just be looking at them. They be eating it with saltine crackers, and it just looks like some sort of gelatin. You know, and then Richard Roundtree does give the history of hoghead cheese and how it's so sentimental. But I'm like, no matter how sentimental, Daddy, you can't appeal to my palate to even want to taste it. You would have to tie me up and tell me, you know, that it was cheese, and I love cheese, but hoghead cheese, pickled pig parts. I don't want no pickled pig feet. I don't want no pickled pigtails, pig ears, pig lips, snout. I don't want any of that. I said in slave times, I probably would have been a bougie vegan. Okay. But you know, that's the beauty and that's the beauty of my lineage, is that we may do with whatever we have. Par for the course. Let's talk about Travion real quick. First of all, Niecy was kind of mean and nasty to Lee at first. Because she was like, oh, you a comedian? I ain't laughed yet. And, you know, we got to keep the riffraff away from my auntie. You know, she's successful and all. I was like, I wish you had that same mentality when you were picking who you were going to procreate with. Dante, Cameron. Okay, girl, but I know you love your auntie. You just want to make sure that she don't cut you off from getting a little money every now and then. Kara, they didn't show her a lot, but Kara is facing issues as well. Real quick on her. Her boys are big. I didn't realize. I'm thinking these are still little boys. One of them is a teenager, and she's trying to have the sex talk with him, and apparently he out here just sharing his little wing wang with everybody. So she gave him a box of condoms. He's like, right here, mama, really? She was like, well, I've been trying to have this talk with you, but you just ain't been trying to listen. I was like, first of all, how are you trying? He's 16, and I don't give a damn if you don't live there. You still his mama, and y'all still have a family unit. What's the problem? I would have snatched his ass, because after she had a talk with him, he told her his business was a 16-year-old girl with braces. And then she hugged him afterwards. One of the people on Twitter with me was like, who do that? I was like, exactly, because my mama would have knocked me into next week if I had said some shit like that. But you know, hey, to each his own with parenting and TV parents, okay. But listen, we know the real deal, Holyfield. Mama will knock you out. Mama gonna knock you out, okay? Also, Mary Jane and Lee were trying to get it in at the house, and when the door opened, because he done got out of everything, honey, it ain't nothing but balls to the wall in there, and Portia gave her damn neck. I said, y'all gonna make Mama's lupus flare up. She walked in, she was like, oh my Lord. I was like, oh Jesus, fix it, Lord. Shook, sister, you been on my mind, oh, sister, we're two of a kind. Oh, well, anyway, she do know something about men's. She told me, I got 2 boys and a husband. It ain't my first time I done seen one, but what you ain't gonna do is just let your freak flag fly at my house. Next time I see your little picker, I'm gonna cut it off. I said, damn, Mama, you are savage. Travion is having issues. In some ways, they didn't say it directly, but I really think that Mary Jane was getting at Niecy about the fact that black boys, or black children in general, tend to be labeled in what we now know to be known as the setup for the prison, the pipeline to prison. You know, you start labeling kids as bad and corrupt. Travion has been through a very traumatic experience. And one of the things I've always said that has been an issue, particularly in the black community, is the fact that we feel as though there are many of us, and it doesn't include me because I am a proponent of anyone who needs it, to go seek mental health therapy. Yes, prayer works and changes things, but sometimes God has given you the answer, and the answer may be call Blue Cross, Blue Shield, Kaiser, or whomever your health care provider is, and ask them, who can I go see? Because I feel like something is not right in my mind. Now, if I had cancer, high blood pressure, diabetes, any type of malignant disease that it manifests itself more so in the physical than in the mental, we need to pray for her. And girl, what your doctor say? Are you going to do chemo? You going to get transplants? No. But if you say, I'm so depressed, I can't get out of bed today, I feel like the weight of the world is on me. Oh, girl, you need to pray about that. That's just the devil on you. Could be a chemical imbalance, people. Life is hard. So Niecy basically talks about the fact grandma feels I can't remember if it was Mary Jane or someone made the statement that they think that all Travion needed to do was go to Sunday school. But no, Travion needs to go see someone to discuss these feelings, and it's going to root itself in a way that he's going to be labeled as a bad kid. And sometimes children, unfortunately, are not strong enough to overcome those labels when you tell them that they are bad and that they are not good and that they will never be anything. Some are able to rise above, but there are others where it's just like, well, they said I ain't shit, so I ain't gonna be shit, okay? But, we need to make sure that our children get what they need. There are limits, I know, and I realize now also in the black community why there is always a concern about, getting help, is because we've been basically experimented on. Yeah, I understand. But at the same time, we do have ministers. You can ask for specifics when you want to take care of your mental health. Mary Jane is in competition with some dude, I don't remember his name, but he was a total dick, who is competing with her to try to get this interview with this judge. And the judge really is not big on that type of popularity and being interviewed and stuff. So they wager a bet. Some kind of way Lee Truitt distracts him in the process, and the dude basically gives him the rundown on Mary Jane, and that is she's selfish, self-centered, she's a bitch, it's all about her. And Lee just kind of looked at him like, dude, why are you telling me this? Like, you want my woman? I mean, she may have changed. In the end, Mary Jane ends up going around him and going to the wife and getting the interview. And what ends up happening is that dude rolls back up and basically says, I guess if I had tits as nice as yours, I could have gotten an interview too. And that's when Lee just loses it and punches dude in the face. I was like, dude, you got served with just a 1, not even a 1-2. You just got served with a 1. Okay, knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. So that was interesting. We saw a whole other side of Lee. And then after he done knocked the trash out, after he done took the trash out, honey, he done took Miss Mary Jane to the back, down by old man Johnson's farm. But they got in the back of her daddy's truck, honey, and they had some Johnny Gill going on. Which song was it? There you go, there you go, there you go. That's it. And I said, oh, he gonna wrap her body tight. Maybe you should have done that. I don't know. I love that Johnny Gill song. I know I sing that a lot from time to time. It looks like it could be promising. Mary Jane and her mother have a moment when Mary Jane's mom kind of tells her that I sacrificed my dreams for you guys so that I was a singer. Because Mary Jane was like, who is that on the record playing? She's like, girl, that's me. I'm Suge Avery. And she was singing Ain't Nobody's Business If I Do. I'm trying to think who. Ain't nobody's business. Ain't nobody's business if I do. Who do I hear? I think it could have been Sarah Vaughan or Ella Fitzgerald. I know it's a jazz standard. A lot of people do it. But I know that there's somebody in particular that I used to hear sing it. That I used to keep in rotation from time to time. Because I do listen to jazz and blues. And I listen to pretty much any damn thing. As long as it don't sound like you calling to the bowels of hell. Niecy and Lee bond when he helps her do a social media post about the labeling of her son. Like if his name was Trevor, he would be treated differently. But since his name is Trevion, it's a problem. When Suge Avery was talking to Mary Jane about what was going on, I think she was really reflecting because she got a phone call during the episode and one of her friends had passed away. And once they get to be that age, that's when friends just kind of start either dying or end up moving away or being put away. I grew up, my great aunt was almost 70 when my mom had me, and my Aunt Betty raised me up until I was 7. And would have kept me, but I just made the decision I want to go stay with my mama. But I remember that as the years went by, certain people would just pass on, and it's just one of those things. I remember one year my Aunt Betty suffered a mild stroke because of the stress of all of her friends dying. I mean, at that point, Aunt Betty was like in her 80s. It's just, I know how she feels, but I was like, Lord, please don't let her lupus flare up. We just can't have that. Lee, I think he's a good guy. He does his set at the comedy club, or it might have been just a jazz club that they allow live comedy, kind of like Harvell's. But he invites Helen Patterson, Mrs. Patterson, to come up, because at first I thought he was going to propose to Mary Jane. I was like, oh shit, it's going down in the club. Meet me in the club. It's going down. But no. And she came up there and sang Ain't Nobody's Business. And it was wonderful. And I think she felt so alive in that moment to be able to do that. But, he does share with Mary Jane that he really wanted to meet her family. And I think next episode we'll probably see her meeting his kids. And who knows, maybe Mary Jane might get married at the end of this season, child. Who knows, or at the top of season 5, because I think they filmed season 5 already too. But we'll see. I'm glad that they are addressing issues in mental health. Mental health is one of those things that really disturbs me about particularly the Black community, is because it's just not that big a deal. Because, we got the Bible and church and God, and that's great. We do. Because can't nobody give you peace like Jesus, but let us not forget that he also gives us tools that we need to survive in this world. So I think that's all I've got. Like I said, it really wasn't like dramatic like when Justin was on the scene. I guess we'll see him and Rhonda come back on the scene next week. That's all I've got. Comment down below. Let me know what I missed. Be sure to thumbs up this video. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. Good night, people.